Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be making some pink lemonade fizz. It's a fragrance by aroma.com.au. For my colors, I'm going to be using pink mica. I'm not sure if I'm going to use a pastel color or a bright color yet. And then probably for the clear base, I'm going to be using yellow liquid dye from Aussie Candle Supplies. So instead of pouring half of one color and then just waiting so it's flat, I'm going to actually put it on an angle and then I'm going to pour the other color in over the top. So on the side of it, there'll be like this marking that goes down, not straight. I'm going to use my fingers to make a wave on the inside, and then I'll use my fingers to create a wave throughout it and then pour the second half in. So it should be interesting to see what happens, but all I have left is my clear base. I'm actually out of goat's milk soap. I'm just going to be using this one today, but I'll either add maybe some titanium dioxide to this so it becomes white, and then add the pink so it becomes pastel. So we'll see how we go. So before I add my fragrance, I want to tell you about the scale that I've got. It's a tiny little scale, it's a kitchen scale. I used to measure all my fragrances and things like that on it. So I had to put this CD cover over the top of it so it would protect it, because the underneath kept melting away from the fragrance oil when it got dripped on. But this has been fantastic, but it's so small. As you can see, it's a little worn. So if you use a good kitchen scale, can you recommend me a brand and put it in the description below? Because I would like to buy a new one. I'm just not sure which one I need to get. So let's add this fragrance. I've set it back to 0. I know you can't see this because the lights are actually pointing this way. So I've done the best I can with the lighting. There's the scale down there. I'm going to add 20 grams to this. There we go, which is 2%. I'm going to mix this in well, and then I'm going to split this up into 2. Wow, that's really strong. It smells amazing though. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I've mixed in my fragrance, and now I'm going to split it up into 2. Now the first one is going to be 550 grams, and it's going to be the pink. It's 550 grams. Now, because I want the bottom color to be pink, if I just add the pink to this, it will be so bright, it won't be funny. It's a neon pink. So I want to pastel it out a bit. So I'm going to add some titanium dioxide. It's titanium dioxide liquid color. It's specially designed for melt and pour. I just use it because it's convenient in a liquid form rather than a powder form. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit. You don't need a lot. Okay, so all that's mixed in, and I'm just going to add a tiny little bit of it at a time. And you know what? That's now clumping, so that's not a good thing. That was actually the wrong thing to do. See, now you can see that there are clumps, and I'm not going to get rid of those. I might be lucky this time if I spray it. Okay, so it's gone to a pastel-y type color. I'm going to get a little tiny container, put some rubbing alcohol, and then grab my mica. So that is the pink. I don't want to pour it all in. I just want to pour a little bit at a time. Until I get to the right color. Needs a little bit more. Well, as it worked out, I needed it all. Okay, that's perfect. Check out that pink. That's incredible. So that's the neon pink, but I've added titanium dioxide to it so it becomes a pastel. How awesome is that? Nothing new, but you know, if you want to get the right color, I'm going to pour this in. Okay, spray the top, rubbing alcohol. I can see some pink bits in there from where I didn't mix it in properly. I shouldn't have done that. I definitely need to use rubbing alcohol when mixing micas in. Yeah, there's little tiny bits of pink in there. Okay, so I need to tip this over on an angle somehow, and I actually didn't try this prior to pouring, so that's kind of silly. But I've got these little tiny silicone molds that I've been using for my fishing lures, and I want to just tip it over onto an angle, but it's going to be too high, that one. So what about that one? That one looks good. Okay, that one looks fine, but I need something behind it to hold it. Something solid. Bird mold. Beautiful. Okay. Awesome. So unfortunately you can't see that. Let me just move the camera around here. So now that's on an angle, and I've got two molds which are solid silicon holding it on an angle. So I'm just going to wait a little bit, and then I'll use my finger and make an indent into that so it's wavy, and then I'll pour the second color in over the top. Okay, so while that is setting up, I'm going to be coloring my clear base with yellow liquid dye. So I'm using this, and it's from Aussie Candle Supplies. It's liquid dye and it's skin safe, and I've been using this for years. So I want to try and make it quite strong. There's 6 drops. So I was thinking, because this is called Pink Lemonade Fizz, what I might try and do is create bubbles in the yellow, making it look like it's fizzy. So what I'll do is I'll stir this vigorously until it starts to cool, and then I'll pour it in over the top of this. And what will happen is I'll create a whole heap of bubbles. Now you saw me do that with the stick blender, but the stick blender didn't create the bubbles properly. And I've used just a chopstick before, and you stir it like so. And you've got hundreds, thousands of bubbles. And as it thickens up, the bubbles won't come to the top. So I'll be back in a minute when I'm ready to do that and pour this. Okay, so this is now set up. I believe it's still warm, but it's not moving back. So what I'm going to do is just move my fingers. It's still a little soft, so I don't want to push too hard because there is liquid soap underneath it. So I'm just pushing down just to make some sort of like a little wavy type feel to it, so it's not even throughout the whole thing. I don't want it to be a violent wave either. I just want it to be like a gentle wave, but I don't want it to be like unnoticeable. I want you to actually see it. So I'm pushing down one side and it's popping up the other. So that tells me that it's really liquid underneath. But like an oozy type liquid, as horrible as that sounds. It's not a it's not liquid as in like a fluid. It's just like toothpaste. I guess that's the best way to describe it. This top half here is all solid though, so I can push that in as much as I like. Okay, so I don't think that's too bad. It's got a very ripply type effect to it. It's not huge though. I wanted it to be sort of bigger and better than that, but anyway, we'll go with that. So here is the base of yellow. It's got a skin on top, but it's liquid underneath, but it's cold. So it's not gonna stick to this. So I'm gonna heat this up in the microwave for about 15 seconds and I'll be back to pour it. So I'm gonna vigorously stir this yellow so I can get bubbles. And actually bubbles are floating into the air. I got my glasses on too, so I don't want it to get in my eye. Let's check the temperature of that. Okay, so that is 125, which is 52. So it's at a good temperature. It's not going to melt this. Even if it did, it would only melt it slightly. I'm just going to try and put a few more bubbles in there. I think I got a few bubbles. I'm not going to spray that. I am going to spray this though. Okay, and pour. I'm going to pour gently because I don't want to pop the bubbles. I'm only pouring from one side. I'm just going to let it flow right through. If I pull the container up higher, in fact, I might try that. So I'm just going to improvise here. I'm just going to take some of this back so I can pour it at a higher altitude. And that way it should, as it falls in, give me more bubbles. Okay, so let's try that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I got a little bit left over, but that's okay. I planned for that. So that looks great. Now it looks like there are bubbles inside the yellow, which is what I wanted in the first place. So I will be back later on tonight to cut this and let's see what happens. Okay, so it's around about 6 hours later and I'm gonna unmold this. This top looks absolutely amazing. All the bubbles. Looks really good. Smells so good. Oh yeah. Oh, that came out perfect. Look at that. Look at that line. It's not straight. It's like a little mountain range. That one's straight. That one looks really good. And all the bubbles on top. See all the bubbles? Yeah, that's nice. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to cut this one and we're going to see what's inside. Well, at least it's stuck together. Yeah, I like it. Looks good. I love that wavy line. Perfect. Have you noticed that down here in the corner, there is about a finger's distance, and then up in the corner there's about a finger's distance. So it starts about a centimeter up and it ends about a centimeter before the top. I didn't even realize that. I just put it on an angle, but it looks like I got the angle right. Perfect. All right, this smells absolutely amazing. So I'm really happy with how this came out. I love the fact that these lines bend and they're not just straight from one corner to another. They've got a little bit of curvature going, and I like that. I will definitely do this one again. So this is Pink Lemonade Fizz from Aroma. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.